Great news! There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Welcome again to Highly Questionable. We're like Tinder around here with the co-host. Who's this one, Papi? Who's
My
this?
son Pablo.
Pablo, gracias.
What do you like on the show today, Pablo?
We're going to find out if you guys care that Anthony Davis might be the best player in the NBA.
Dale, Papi.
Is the NFL smart to go after Jerry Jones?
Go after? I don't feel like it's going after. The New York Times is reporting that Jerry Jones, after he went after the NFL said, okay, you made this mess, now you clean it up. You pay for everything. You pay for all the lawyers' fees, and that's going to be a couple of $1 million. If any owner did this, that's how the NFL would react. They are very conscious of their image, and if you sue the league, the NFL is going to make you cover the costs at the very least.
But it does feel like they are litigating some sense of pettiness here. And the funny thing is that certain NFL owners have always talked about protecting the shield. And that's not quite right. It really is a matter of the shield protecting certain NFL owners. And Roger Goodell is nothing else if not a shield for those people. So they can go and litigate pettiness without ever really ending up in the headlines. Like the finance committee was the one that was really up against Jerry Jones here. We don't talk about who was on that committee. We just talk about Jerry versus Roger, and that's real convenient for those owners.
Also convenient for the media that doesn't care about those financial things and the details that are reported in the background, because we've got the sexiness of Jerry Jones' fighting with Roger Goodell. You don't need much more than that. One of the delicious details here as we talk about some of the pettiness, Mark Maskey of the Washington Post is reporting that he is going to appeal. Jerry Jones is going to appeal, and the person who will be hearing the appeal will be either Roger Goodell or someone appointed by Roger Goodell. I'd like to see how that conversation goes.
I also love that there are all these legal proceedings. Like, being a lawyer in the world of the NFL is so great because all you do is litigate feuds, and everybody has so much money that they don't care about the millions you're spending on litigating these dumb feuds.
Jerry Jones doesn't care about the $2 million, but if I'm a lawyer, I want to get under there to grab some of that $2 million.
We got the sheriff versus the no good doer. Yeah. Is that how you say that? No good doer?
No, that's not how you say it when you go to Harvard.
Okay.
You went to Harvard?
I did.
Yes, he did.
I did.
Wow, what happened?
What did happen? It's such a good question, right? This couldn't have been the destination. It couldn't have been.
This is what my mom says every time I'm on TV.
Could Anthony Davis win the MVP?
Oh, a slow news day produces what happened in basketball last night. And we turn to Pelicans Suns, where Anthony Davis scored a bunch of points, and then we can have the conversation about, is Anthony Davis really that good? Or why isn't Anthony Davis better? Really, what he is great. He's exceptional. He can't win the MVP, though, because James Harden is going to win that after we give it to the best offensive team we've ever seen, and the Houston Rockets are the surprise of the league, too.
James Harden is going to win the MVP, even if the Pelicans get to the 3 seed, because that is the gap between the 2 seed and the 3 seed. It's like 11 games or so. But Anthony Davis is interesting on this level. We talk about Giannis as being the new unicorn. Giannis is 23 years old. Anthony Davis, old busted unicorn, is 24. Like, Anthony Davis is that child actor who's been around for so long that we forgot how amazing he is, and he can do all the things that Giannis can do. Offense, defense, shoot threes, all that. He can do it. He's just kind of boring to us because we're familiar with his face.
I am not lying to you when I tell you that I just now was surprised by the fact that Anthony Davis is 24 years old. Did not know it before he just said it.
You know who's going to be very mad if Anthony Davis is selected the MVP, don't you?
Who's that, Papi?
Who else but LeBron? That's right. He's going to be... Right. He's going to say, I got to be the MVP. Look all the things that I have done, you know. I have carried this Cavalier team in my shoulders, you know. I have shuffled with that roster about 10 times. I'm stuck in the middle of the whole thing, and nobody give me credit. I go to the basket, and I don't get the whistles, you know. Ah! I want to be the MVP. I should be the MVP. Ah! The league doesn't like me anymore.
Goes very deep into character.
Is there a beef simmering between Dirk and Mark Cuban?
Oh, this is interesting. So Mark Cuban is a tanker. He's an avowed tanker. He's been fined for saying he's a tanker, and he's going to continue tanking. And Dirk's not down with that, so listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want a culture here. That's just giving up and quitting and not playing hard. I think it just sets the wrong tone for the future. So I think it's important for our young guys to learn how to compete all the time, play hard, you play your minutes hard, and that's the only way you get better. That's the only way to play in this league. And whatever happens after the season, we'll just go from there. But for now, we play minutes hard and you play to win.
The problem, of course, with what Dirk is saying is that culture might not be the thing that most bugs Dirk Nowitzki. It's the fact that Dirk is turning 40 in June, and on a team that is rebuilding and developing its players, he's mostly a ceremonial totem pole. There is no use for Dirk Nowitzki on a team that doesn't want to win right now.
It is very easy for everyone to get along when interests are aligned. The tests of relationships are when interests aren't aligned. And now Mark Cuban is not aligned with Dirk Nowitzki. But I will say, on behalf of that relationship, I don't think of that as a normal sports relationship or even a normal business relationship. That feels like a family relationship. Dirk has taken so many discounts. Mark Cuban seems like they have that kind of relationship. And if that's the case, what you've got is a family squabble where you disagree about things. We have those all the time. It doesn't mean we don't love each other.
And in defense of Mark Cuban on this specific issue, the league has never had a problem with tanking in effect. The league has a problem with tanking without plausible deniability. What Mark Cuban just did was make all of his players have to answer to a basic question that Cuban and the league never want to officially cop to if they care about PR, which is, yeah, we don't actually care about winning all that much right now.
Oh, Dirk, he talks like that because he has another option.
What's his other option?
Yeah, he lived in Maverick and he can always play soccer.
Oh, I knew my father was going to go to that video.
Is there video? Do we have video?
No, that's what my father does. Hold on a second. Let's show this to Pablo. Hold on a second. Shh. Have you seen the video?
I have not.
All right, hold on a second. We're going to show it to the people in a second. Here we go. This is the joke Papi's making, Pablo.
That's it.
This is the joke. There it is. And so the joke was that that's probably not the second career.
Did kind of look like Dirk, though.
It is Dirk.
That is?
That is
Wait, that's
Dirk.
actually Dirk?
That was actually Dirk.
What?
You think so? Wait a minute. You think there was a... think there was a 7-foot giraffe of a soccer player? Look
there are many tall soccer players.
Not this clumsy, though. Who does a bicycle kick like
Let
this?
me see that again.
Pablo thought that was just a great Dutch forward.
Whoa. Yep, okay. Okay, and the guy in front of him who's super old, that makes it seem like, yeah, it's maybe not an official game. Fair. Touché.
That's funny. Again, Harvard educated.
This is not a class.
Does it make sense that so few teams were interested in Marcus Peters?
This is an unusual story. Marcus Peters is very good at his job. Used to be his cornerback of the Chiefs. He's great at it. And he was traded to the Rams, and there weren't a lot of other suitors, according to Peter King from Sports Illustrated. Only a couple of suitors for a great cover corner who is still young. And it makes you wonder, what do they know that the rest of us don't know? Because it can't just be about throwing a penalty flag into the stands or a little bit of a fight on a field with Marshawn Lynch. There has to be something else here that teams know that we don't.
And I think the thing that the Chiefs in particular know is that Marcus Peters is not shy about his views on protesting systemic inequality and police brutality during the national anthem. That was a thing that Clark Hunt, the owner of the Chiefs, was super not happy about. And it's one of those things that kind of explains why Marcus Peters wasn't as popular with the fans in Kansas City, which tend toward a certain demographic. Now, the Rams seem to have realized that, wait a minute, Moneyball in the NFL means just picking off all these players who dissatisfy their owners and certain fans of political orientations? Well, yeah, it kind of seems that way.
So these guys goes from Kansas City to L.A.?
That's right.
That's a good move.
I mean, that
is much better there.
Yeah, I think everybody in Kansas City is going to start taking penalty flags, throwing them into the crowd. Let's see. Let me get out of here.
Should the NFL limit pass interference penalties to 15 yards?
The competition committee is looking at this and a couple of other interesting things. The idea of let's go to the college rules. We don't want these plays that are 60 yards where you've got an old referee just chasing down a play, and then that penalty is worth so much more than any other penalty. Let's just make it uniform at 15 yards. I didn't think that was as interesting as what the competition committee is doing with the catch rule. They finally want to fix. They figured out we cannot have Chris Collinsworth, wide receiver, during a broadcast in the Super Bowl saying, I don't know what a catch is, and they're trying to clean clean up this thing where a guy has to maintain possession through a catch on the ground. They're trying to fix that.
The catch rule is in desperate need of reform and revision, but I'm also reminded of a reality around this stuff, around officiating-related stuff. When these bad calls happen that are controversial, at least 50% of the fans involved watching that game are kind of okay with it. I struggle to believe that people are actively disengaging from football because of officiating-related controversies. Now, it's nice to clean up the academic nature of the sport. None of it really makes sense. But in terms of what actually ails the NFL in terms of viewership, I don't think this is going to make a big dent at all.
You know who's going to fight that pass interference ruling tooth and nail?
Who's that?
Tom Brady.
Oh,
How many
right.
years I've seen
That's
Tom
right.
Brady, with the game on the line, throwing deep, 60, 70 yards, and all of a sudden, the receiver misses the ball and it's a pass interference call, and they march them down the,
That's right.
the 1 yard line. How many times
How
have
many
they done
times?
with about 5 seconds left? You know what I mean?
At least once recently.
Yes, Tom Brady's going to be at the commissioner's
He's
office.
going to be that. You can't go that route. Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
This call at the end of the game, they're winning on the road by 11.
Cocky dribbling
Situation.
Yes. Bang!
Oh, and that's James Harden's mom.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world. Disclaimer.